Robin from Corner Ballet here, and I'm excited about this video because after I do this video, I can actually start talking about specifics like pliés and tendus and all these different steps that we teach in ballet. But I got to do this one first because this one really sums up my philosophy of teaching pre-ballet students. And if what I say in this video doesn't resonate with you, if you're like, yeah, that's not really my vibe, then this channel probably isn't going to have much that you would connect with. But if after listening to this, you're like, yeah, I could really get on board with that, or yeah, that's how I view it too, then we're probably on the same page with things. So anyway, this is about how pre-ballet should feel while the pre-ballet class is happening, how it should feel to the students and how it should feel to the teacher. So I want to start with the students. There are 3 things that students should really feel while they are moving through a pre-ballet class. And the first one is that it should feel really like playing to them. Now this gets a little bit less in the top level. Like if the pre-ballet program is broken up into 3 levels, like maybe 3 and 4-year-olds, 5 and 6-year-olds, 7 and 8-year-olds, or something like that. That top level is going to be a little bit less play focused, but it still needs to have a lot of lightness in it, a lot of space for the feeling of play to exist, because kids learn best through play. So the way you present the combinations, the exercises, the steps, the concepts, the way you present those things need to be basically in game form, or at least that's how it feels to them. It maybe doesn't feel that way to you as a teacher, but to the students, they do feel like they're playing. So that's the first thing. It should feel very similar to them, like their playtime feels to them. I've got my notes over here so I don't get off track, because when I start talking about ballet, I can just like go off on all these little tangents. So the second thing that it should feel to the students is it should feel very clear what the expectations are, because when it is clear what the directions are, they can then easily follow them. So there doesn't need to be any kind of confusion for them as to where they need to sit or how they need to behave or what you are expecting of them, and also what they can expect from their classmates. Very clear, easy to understand directions. And then the last thing that it should feel like to them is that it's over too soon. You know, when the class is over, it just needs to feel like, oh, that wasn't long enough. Oh man, why is ballet over? I wanted to keep going. I can't wait to come back next time. That's how it should feel. You don't want, you know how sometimes when you're teaching those little ones, oh, my cat just sneezed. Sometimes when you're teaching those little ones, it can just feel like it drags on and on. Because maybe you run out of material, or maybe something weird happens and the kids are just in like a weird place. You know that feeling of it just going on forever, like the minutes feel like hours, right? That is not what we want it to feel like. It needs to the kids, it needs to feel like it's just over way too soon. So that's the students. It needs to feel like playtime. It needs to be very clear what the directions are, what the expectations are, and then it needs to just feel like it was over too soon and they just want to keep staying. For the teacher, for you as the teacher, it should feel very organized, very structured. You have a very clear plan and you know how to execute it. So you're never in a position where you don't know what to do, or you've run out of material, or something strange happens and you just don't know how to handle that strange thing, because let's face it, when you're teaching little ones, especially the younger they go, really strange things can happen in class. So you want to feel very organized and prepared for your class, because then you can be calm. And if you are calm, then the kids pick up on that calmness and then they are calm as well. Or maybe not totally calm, but you know. So organized is what you want to feel. You also want to feel that the things you are presenting to them, the expectations you have, both in the way they manage themselves, their behavior, and in the steps they are doing, that it's attainable for them. So when you step back after a few weeks of them doing like the same exercises week after week, you should start seeing progress and be like, oh my gosh, these 3-year-olds are actually doing for real ballet. Obviously they're not doing like real technical ballet, but it should really feel that they are achieving what you set out for them to achieve. So they're not just flitting about the studio and basically having creative play the whole time. even though I said that it should feel like play to them, it doesn't feel like play to you. You know that you are teaching them like real skills that you will continue to build on. It just doesn't feel like that to the students, but to you, so this is where it differs. To the kids, it feels like playtime, but for you, you really know you're teaching them stuff because you can see it happening. It's very attainable for them. And then the last thing is that you want to feel that you have space in your lesson plan and in your brain to pivot if you need to, because you can have a plan in place and it can be the most perfect plan to have ever been planned, but sometimes plans just don't go according to plan, or plans just aren't the right plan for that specific moment in time. And so you want to feel able to pivot to something different without the class crumbling. This kind of circles back to feeling very organized. If you really know what your overarching themes are and goals are for the whole year, and you organize it out, you can easily pivot within one class and still feel that you're on track. So for the teacher, you want to feel organized. You want to feel that what you are giving to the students is attainable and they're actually achieving it, because then that motivates you to keep teaching them and coming back and not feeling like you're just babysitting kids. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you create space within your lesson plan, within the month, within the quarter, within the year, within the recital piece. You want to create space within all of these things to pivot and take things in a slightly different direction if it seems that is required. So now that I've talked about all that, that is basically my philosophy of how I teach, my philosophy of PreBallet, like how I approach it. I'm super excited now because I can get into all the details. And I want to go into all kinds of details, like bar work, when you start that, how do you start a class, how do you finish a class, should you give them stickers, should you not give them stickers, how do you put together a recital piece, all of these different things. There's just so much I want to talk about. I can't wait.